When you arrive at a casino, stop, listen, walk around, but don't gamble yet. Why? Because that's a way to win. In today's live stream, I'll explain my slots winning strategy number 8, the casino environment. And of course, I'll be taking your questions because this is a live stream. I'm only saying that because, of course, the people who are live here now know it's a live stream, but you might be watching this after the fact. Hello to you watching this recording, whether you be on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn. Let me click something here. Okay. Yes, and so if you are, either way, stick around and be sure, I'm sure you'll be able to get value from this, even if you are watching this after the fact. But those of you who are here live, thank you so much. If you have a question, use hashtag question. Let me put that into the chat so you can see it. Yes. And that's so I can be sure to spot your question to me instead of comments in the live chat to each other. After all, this is also a community video where friends check in with one another about how things have been going lately. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses plus 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership, where you get community support and accountability. Visit professorslots.com/30 days to see my, and I can show you some of it here, so you can see my free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. Now, if you want to join Slots IQ membership, you don't have to do that immediately. I got a question today about this. You don't have to join it immediately. The first month is free when you choose to activate the membership, which could be a year from now if you purchase the course, or if you already purchased the course, it's still hanging out there. So it's the first month free after you activate it, and maybe you never will. So you can save it for the future. But it is a great event. I host a Zoom meeting where we all see each other and talk for an hour and a half on Thursday nights, and Thursday evenings, although it's getting to be a little bit more late afternoon for those in Pacific time. And it's a great time, absolutely. So have you ever played a slot machine and you're winning, but then a casino employee looks at you funny and walks away, and now you're losing a lot more? Did the odds change on that machine? Yes. Did the employee do it? No. The odds on that slot machine changed based on a schedule installed days ago. This is wonderful because with it you can take advantage of your casino. Welcome to my winning slot strategy 8, the casino environment. And I want to thank all my I want to thank my moderator, who I know that is here. It's lots of fun. And my other moderators, if they are here, thank you for moderating. Minka, Minka is in the house. Absolutely. Good to see you here. So you'll get better at slots, whatever goal you have, as you become more familiar with your casino. Is it busy? Is it not busy? Have you gone enough times to a casino to know the difference yet? Get to know your casino as you play slots. Get really good at it. Let's say you're dropped off at your casino without knowing what day of the week it is. Based on what you see, can you still tell what day of the week it is? Don't look at your watch or your phone. Based on the feel of the casino, tell me the day of the week. You can do it if you know your casino well. And you get better at listening and observing as you get better at listening and observing while you're in your casino, this will become easy. Eventually, with practice, you'll be able to tell me what time it is too, with practice. So practice. As you may know, I already have a bunch of winning slots strategy that I've been explaining in these last few weeks, and with more to come. These strategies are important for you to know, but they're not being presented to you now. The purpose of this live stream is to help you use your observations of the casino's environment to know the best time to play slots. But how are the observational skills I want you to get great at winning slot machines at this winning slot with this winning slots strategy? Simple. Everything you see and hear in a full-blown marketing is a full-blown marketing strategy by the casino. But once you notice Once your observational skills get exercised and revved up, you can see and hear for yourself what's happening. And once you notice what's happening right in front of you, you can learn to take advantage of it. A computer's central computer server is physically connected to every slot machine in most casinos, excluding riverboat casinos due to space limitations and small convenience store style casinos which can't afford a server. And what's on that computer server remotely controlling the odds of winning on every slot machine is in most casinos, whether they are old three-reel slot machines or the most modern of touchscreen video slot machines. It's a programmed algorithm based on the casino's chosen setup plan. My winning slot strategies take advantage of what that algorithm is doing. My strategies are actually counter strategies to what the casino's got going on. But that algorithm is executing a schedule. Not every strategy works at every casino, but each casino might have the algorithm version for which one of my strategies was designed to take advantage. For example, as best as I can tell, my 5-spin method works at about 1 in 4 casinos. But this strategy works at all casinos with a central server. So here it is. Listen to the casino. Is it suddenly more busy than usual or abruptly less busy than usual? But not because the number of people playing slots has changed. Are a lot more slots enthusiasts winning? If it's abruptly busy, go play a slot machine. If it's not unusually busy, save your money and find something else to do until you hear and see it get busy. You can't expect to win when no one else is, right? That's it. That's my winning slot strategy, number 8. Listen, observe, wait for abrupt changes. When they increase, that's when you play to win. The hard part of this strategy is figuring out what to do while you wait, because casinos work hard to make sure there's little else to do in casinos except gamble. When you arrive at a casino, stop, listen, walk around, but don't gamble, not yet. Why? Because that's a way to win, by using your casino's plan to manipulate you against them. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses, including, and let me go back to the top here, including you also get 3 free valuable bonuses plus 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership, where you get community support and accountability. Visit professorslots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. So today I start off these presentations at the beginning of the live stream and share a topic, and this one is straight and to the point. That's it. That's the topic. So I'll take your questions now, and I'll go for up to 2 hours. That's about as long as I can just talk and not lose my voice. And ask me your questions. In the meantime, I wanted to say that if you haven't, I wanted to say it at each of my 3 weekly live streams. I mentioned it on Saturday, and today's, of course, Tuesday. The reason why it's still light out at 7 p.m. Eastern time is because I'm in Pacific time. A week ago, Monday, I arrived in Reno, Nevada, because I moved here to be closer to my daughter. And I only realized a few days after I decided to do that, oh, yeah, it might help the business too. Okay. But really, I'm here to see her. And she's already invited me to Thanksgiving dinner. And she loves cats. So she'll be by shortly. She was on a trip to Arkansas. And anyway, family stuff. And that's why I did all this. I made this change. So you'll be seeing, because the nearest casino, if I were open the blinds and blind you with the light, you could just make out a Atlantis casino skyscraper there in the distance, because I got the top level apartment in the apartment complex. And so it's kind of barren here, and there's a little bit of echoes, that sort of thing. Please bear with me as I reestablish my studio. Same with my daily Slots IQ, Slots question and answer shorts. Same with my uploaded videos, which I've now been doing like once a day. You can go to my website and you can see the latest. Let me share that with you. So if you go to professorslots.com, you can go and you can see the latest episodes. So in the last few days, the 16th, the twice on the 16th. Once yesterday, I posted new articles. I've gone over Maryland slots returns. It's a every state is unique, it's like every person is special, including, just like everybody else. It's every state is unique. And the 20 of the 50 US states that provide return statistics, Maryland is kind of really tight. They have video lottery machines. You can watch the video, or you can read the article. I'm not putting this on my podcast because the graphs are hard to convey how they look on an audio only format. But take a look at that if you're interested in Maryland. I know several people have asked me here what's going on. And it's fairly simple return statistics from the state, but they're very tightly controlled. I don't think the casinos have much control at all over what the odds are. They're all basically identical. They have small variations, fractions of a percent. And isn't that interesting? I always find the unusual to be interesting. And also, I wanted to address, why do casinos move winning slot machines? I just uploaded this morning that video. Well, and you can also go to professorslots.com and read the article there. I'm just finished producing a podcast about that topic. And it's about 2 hours long, with this and some other things included in it, based on your feedback on what you would like. And so that podcast finally, after nearly a month is coming out. And in an hour or so after this live stream is over. So that's what's going on. And I have some questions. So I'll be answering questions for as long as you ask them. I have a few kind of tucked away that didn't get answered just at, elsewhere. I thought you might be interested in it. So I've got a few questions from comments, but in the meantime, let's go through the questions here. Make sure you use #question to ask questions. And I've got a question from my moderator. Are the casinos turning down regular payback so they can build bigger payout jackpots? You mean any more than usual? It's like, they don't take the route of like buying a car, like a regular, person buying a car where they get a loan. No, they save the money and then buy the car outright. So, are they starting to? No. Are the casinos turning down regular payback? Yes, but always. So that would mean it's not regular payback. It's just what they do. The bigger payout jackpots can be progressives, but think about it from the casino's point of view. What's going on with bigger payout jackpots? Because if you can't, wait an hour, if you don't want to play a machine for that long, people need to be satisfied. They're short-term happiness, right? They don't want to wait. People get impatient and they will leave. As with a live stream, if I don't move on to the next question in like a minute, people were like, "Come on, move on." And so, yes, what's the point for the casino to do this? What's the advantage? And I don't see the advantage. Yes, it's great to have big payouts. They could report it in the news. People could share it online. But if there's like one at the end of the night, that's thousands of people that are going to be pretty dissatisfied. And so where's the advantage for the casino? I don't see how the casino would get anything particularly good from this. Now, if they have a few, as always, that can hit, doesn't even, the progressive doesn't even drop very low when somebody wins it, where it's every jackpot that's won is big, then that's how they handle that. It'll trip over the must pay amount if they have that in a regular fashion. And so that's all part of the advertising mix, of the casino environment. Yeah. Now, just to speak of this from the legal point of view, uh, that's not exactly possible in a lot of states. A lot of states will say this is the theoretical payout limit, and it must be the limit, not the actual amount that's used, but it can't be this lower or this higher. But whatever it's set to, it's set for per machine, per wager, per machine, per wager. And you're talking about just turning that off for a while so that it can build. And some states that's illegal. Yeah. So good question. Digging into the legal and business practices that are possible. Flip asks the question, when using the Deja Vu strategy, do you normally bet using the same numbers used when the Handpay was won? Okay, so when using the Deja Vu, do you normally bet with, so we're talking about multi-denomination machines in part. Do I use the same denomination? Do I use the same credits? Well, when I use that, I'm usually, how do I put this? I'm betting on a budget. I hope you guys are too. um, uh, budget responsibly. So what I'll do is I'll find a machine where the maximum bet, what I do is I'll find a machine that has the maximum bet is within my budget. And then I'll do maximum bet. Maximum credits for one particular denomination that I would show. So if you want to, there's a lot more multi-denomination machines and maybe you're not max betting the first time you win something, I would check it out with the same credits, the same denomination on a multi-denomination machine, just to confirm if, the first time you do the Deja Vu method, you want to check to see if your casino has it. Some casinos don't have it. Where you come back a week later, in case people don't know, the Deja Vu method is come back a week later, play the same machine you won a jackpot on or saw someone win a jackpot on, and 5 minutes earlier, and play through that same time period exactly 1 week later. So you need to confirm that the casino has it. I would do the exact same bet to confirm it has it. Once you've on your slots journey have progressed to, okay, you have confidence that this casino, whichever casino, has the Deja Vu method, then you can mix it up a little bit. And one of the things you can do is collect a whole bunch of wins, times of the day of the week, wins. It doesn't have to be yours. You can see somebody else do it on a machine, come back a week later, hopefully they're not there using the Deja Vu method, and play that machine. And you can get like 15, 20 machines that you understand this way. And once you confirm the casino has it, then you go ahead and try other things, like let's try to maximize this. If this is a winning machine, why wouldn't I go maximum denomination, maximum credits, right? But it's a step process. It's a slots journey. And I like to, we're all gamblers. and I've sometimes been a little more concerned about your money than you are. But I still continue to care. And so, I progressively work into it. It's a slots journey. It's a good idea. Check it out. Yeah. So if you have a question, use #question. And let's see. I have a question from someone, from Tracy, and I will share that question. There you go. Okay. Tracy asks, there we go. Tracy asks, Professor, does the 5-spin method interfere with comps session time play since you're moving from machine to machine every few minutes using the 5-spin method? That's a really good question. There is a possibility that's happening. Table time session table game time, table game session time definitely matters, but something doesn't ring true when MGM Rewards tried to tell me that they did the same thing with slot machines. They told me no one knows how much time means what, and at the same time that shortness of play mattered. Basically, their logic seems soft, but it's problematic. First, at worst, the 5-spin method is cheap, meaning it doesn't take much bankroll. That alone means the resultant ADT, average daily theoretical, is small, if that's our only method of playing slots. Second, if we win at our casino with the 5-spin method or otherwise, there is zero ADT. You could say it's negative ADT because you made a profit. By making a profit, we only get those promotions and comps explicitly stated in the club brochure as owed us for our tier level. Everything else is extra. Everything else that's extra stops because we're not paying our way. It's kind of a catch-22, like paying income taxes on gambling profits. Oh man, I wish I didn't have to pay taxes. Well, okay, I'm sorry you won, I guess. Maybe next time give it all back. Feel better now? It's kind of a, how do I put it? Having your cake and eating it too. You know, if it's a perfectly valid, want, but I want to give you both the cake and keep the cake to look at it. Yeah, but sometimes it's mutually exclusive, to use a statistics term. Danny says study, homework, record keeping, and budget. Playing slots is fun. I don't mean to take the fun out of it by saying have a plan. Maybe you don't enjoy having a plan as much as I do, but do you want the money? Do you want to protect yourself in case you win big because you're keeping gambling records? There's so many people for so long have thought I can't make a living at playing slots when in fact you can. And if you don't try, no one ever will. So people were like, well, I'm just gonna, just throw my money away. But it's kind of a sad thing. It's like, well, if you don't want to save money, and then you won't. It's not going to happen accidentally. And so I think playing slots has got elements to it. It's not too much homework. It's just a matter of walking around in the casino, for today's topic, looking to see where the major intersection is. What does the outside of the high limit room look like? That's more my last topic that I was talking about, highly visible locations, right? No, it's the next one. That's the next live stream. But listening to the sound of the casino, watching the workers scurry around or not is something. As Camilla says, a plan helps to have more fun within safe boundaries. There's too much going on where people are getting financially hurt because it's just like throwing money away. And I much prefer people like take care of themselves. So I live in an apartment now, so occasionally you'll hear a dog bark or a car horn, and I'm not in the middle of the woods with my log cabin, which either in a few hours or tomorrow morning will go on the market. If you're interested in a log home, just contact me at john@professorslots.com. And in Southwest Ohio, I should say. Mary Ellen. Hi, Mary Ellen. It's good to see you here. Question: many times I'll pull out my comp card and then put it back in about a minute later. This is done purely on my gut feeling it may help. Does it have any real effect on the slot machine? So there's these resets that take place when you pull your card out. Usually you pull your card out and your money, and then you wait 30 seconds and you put them both back in. I've had some success with getting the 5-spin method immediate hit after I do that. Where if I had just left it in, I wouldn't get the immediate hit because it's trying to give somebody new, somebody who puts in their card and sits down, put their money in and their card in and sits down and plays while I'm faking it out by taking my card out and putting it in, because it's not checking to see, oh, wait, is that the same person? Because, statistically, it's pretty odd to have that. So they don't recognize it. And then I'm getting Handpays, not Handpays. I usually bet small these days, a $300 bankroll, just so I understand what you're going through. Most of you are going through. Yes, personally, I do the high limits. If you want to talk about that, we can talk about that. I supremely enjoyed getting 109 Handpays, but some of those were on low limit machines, which is kind of extraordinary to do. So if you are having, I completely agree with gut feeling. So if you think it's helping, you can check to see if it's helping by looking at the data. But if you find a casino that's doing the 5 spin method, then you can get those immediate hits if it thinks that you're new to the machine. It's also very helpful in very busy casinos when you're looking around going, I don't see another machine to get on because they're all taken. It's such a busy night. And then so you can just sit at the same machine, take your card out, take your money out, wait 30 seconds, put it back in, and use that reset to your advantage. Elaine, hi Elaine, good to see you. Did you carry a notebook in the beginning to keep track of when and which machine? Not sure I can remember at my age. I did. Well, I took in a notebook. Where is it? It's like a little black book, I guess you could say. And I made some notes in it. And there was a casino employee wearing a suit was standing next to me in 2 minutes at Miami Valley Gaming in Southwest Ohio. And he said, "What are you doing?" I just looked at him and I told him the truth. Well, I didn't tell him I was Professor Slots, but I told him, "Oh, I'm just writing down some numbers. The top jackpot, so I could figure out the goodness ratio." I didn't call it the goodness ratio because I'm just like, I'm writing down that number. And he said, "We don't allow that." So that's something you want to be careful of. Now, I have a recording device called an Apple Watch. It has an app on it that I can just I'm kind of like talking to myself and, recording the whole thing. And that's something that I figure I can get away with. Also, I can pretend to be talking on my phone because they do allow you to talk to somebody on your phone. But if you're leaving yourself a message, with the app, there's that. So notebooks are a little harder. Certainly better than writing notes in a gambling device. So if you take your iPhone and echoes. If you take your iPhone and you type notes into it and don't use a physical notebook, an electronic device designed to use to help your gambling performance, that's a no-no. I mean, maybe they won't arrest you at a tribe, go to tribal jail or go to this, the state facility, but the state jail. But it's illegal in a lot of states. You can't use a gambling device, and it could be interpreted that way. And I don't want anybody to ask me for bail money. I don't want anybody to go, get in trouble that way. They might question you, but they won't arrest you. And so I certainly want to hide it. Yeah, I'm going to try to use Apple device, and I'll take one for the team if I ever get arrested. And my next live stream, 3 to 5 years, I'll tell you, I don't know, 30 days, I will tell you, if that ever happens. But I need to record stuff. Now, the easiest thing to do is go to the restroom and maybe record because they can't record you there because that's private, or go to your hotel room or just step outside of the casino, perhaps. Yes, so that's something you can do. Danny says, what do you do when you win big, let's say $50,000 and up? What steps do you need to take? Well, so when I have paid consultations with clients, I tell them you need a plan. You don't just need a plan, you need 3 plans, okay? You're there with a plan, and hopefully you are winning something. That's the normal amount that you might expect. Have a plan for that, okay? You go in with a $300 bankroll. What happens if you win $500? What's the plan? Keep half of it, replenish $300 from your bankroll, and then the rest is playing money so you can relax. That's the first plan. The second plan is what happens if you win a hand pay, but not a large hand pay, like up to $5,000. Are you staying? Are you going? Are you putting your $300 back in your pocket and spending the rest? Are you saving half of it because you want to pay off your car? What's the plan? What's your plan? Because coming up with a plan when you start having that happen is, your adrenaline's pumping, and it's harder to come up with a plan. It's easier to remember the plan. So what's the plan? And then the third plan you have to have is something with, if you win $50,000. And usually the message is get out, get out, get out, get out, unless that's a regular occurrence for you. I have, last year I had a client, was it last year? Yeah, last year I had a client who, in October, who told me that he had spent $30 million. No, he had won $30 million, but had spent $31 million. And at one of the tribal casinos in California, I won't say which, a top gambler in the casino. And, it's really different when you are playing at that level, because you don't use money. It would take $100,000 bankroll, on an evening, maybe $1 million bankroll in a week. And you would spend all your time putting hundreds in. So you go to the cashier, you load it, you give the money to them, or you transfer the money to them, you do a line of credit, and they load it on the machine you want to play. So it's boom, done. And so then you get Handpays, and some of the things that are happening in the casinos that allow this. And that gentleman who did all this said he went to the next tribal casino over, and they banned him because they're like, we don't like you at all. and he was like, oh, I said, okay, because he was winning. He also said, all my methods worked at that casino, but he was mostly talking to me in the paid consultation about taxes and how to record it under the methods, where he had lines of credit and bank receipts and all of that, how to handle that. And I want to thank Flip for his $100 donation. It is very much appreciated. He says, I want a hand pay for $4,000, lots of fours here, $4,044.40 at WinStar today at 7:52 a.m. using at least 3 of your strategies: time, location, machine status. Thank you, Professor. You're very welcome. Thank you for the donation. It helps the cause. Much appreciated. Great. Yeah, thanks for giving back. And let's see, Sandy has a question. Please use hashtag question in your questions so I can see them and not pass them by as a comment to one another. Do casinos track the bills they pay with Handpays? Do the casinos track the bills they pay from Handpays? Well, every Handpay, some casinos force a Handpay of $600, but it doesn't automatically generate a W-2G. It's because they're trying to reduce fraud by not having vouchers that are over $600. So often some casinos will make a Handpay. I'm not sure which you're talking about. I'm going to assume for most of us, a Handpay is $1,200 or more and generates a income tax form W-2G. And if you're asking if casinos track that, well, yes, they have to track all their W-2Gs. In fact, I was audited in 2005 for 2004 because, and I figured out what was going on. I wasn't the one being audited. They audited me, not because they wanted to audit me. they audited me because the casino hadn't told them about the W-2Gs I had gotten, which is bad. I mean, how many people do they do that to? What do they do? What did they do? Lose my W-2Gs? So the IRS asked for my W-2Gs. Please send them in, so they would have them, and then went after the casino. And that was my audit experience so far. So yes, the casino will track the IRS requires them to track um, W-2Gs. I think that's what you mean, unless you're talking about the Handpays at some casinos, which are less than $1,200. And then, let me know if you do, if you are. Cheryl says, uh, um, Cheryl says, sure, there we go. Cheryl has a comment. I use a notebook. I used a notebook last week. No one said anything because I can't remember. So I don't mean to joke, but did anyone say something and you just don't remember? Sorry, I don't mean to make fun of it. So Sandy is yeah. See these these subtleties of the question become a little bit kind of like what's going on, and so I appreciate Sandy explaining her question more. Are they tracking the bills I put back into the machine from a Handpay? Okay. The serial number. So you should be able to tell for a medium-sized Handpay whether or not the slot attendant is pulling it from their money belt, handing it to you, whether there's any sort of identification of the serial number. That's the only way they're going to be able to tell. And you can easily, if you are worried, one of the things that you can do, I understand people's worry about this, that, and the other thing. But if you are worried, there's something you can do that only takes a few seconds. Put it back in, put the money back in, make a voucher, and then put the voucher in. It might not be the same machine that you put the bills in. Get a voucher, reach over to the next machine, put a couple hundreds in, whatever, 20s, whatever, and print a voucher and put it in the machine you're in. Now, then you might say, well, if it's keeping track of the voucher too, not just the hundreds, well, then you need to do a little bit more, which is go to the machines and cash out the voucher, get more hundreds, because honestly, casinos are cheap. Okay, they're misers. They're not going to put money into having a feature where they're tracking things if there's no way for them to make money from that. So it's just very unlikely. Even your initial suggestion of tracking the hundreds, that's expensive technology, even if they could do it in a practical sense, which is not likely. But if you are concerned, take a couple of steps and just make it harder for them, where you would be like, are they, anyway, we can go down the rabbit hole here. I would say that they're not tracking you, but I understand people's concerns. Linda, hi Linda, you moved to Reno. I moved to Reno. And one of my moderators, Chuck, who may not be here, he may still be resting. I drove 6 hours to Missouri. He offered to, for me to pick him up. He rested for a few days beforehand, and then he drove 26 hours from Missouri to Reno. And in a minivan with all my stuff. I had a duffel bag of clothes, a gym bag of gym clothes, and a small suitcase of my Professor Slot shirts and other stuff in the car, like 2 cats in cages, which went very well. So that was last week. I want to apologize to everybody for all my little errors that I'm making, because it's a 3-hour time difference. Did I mention that for the 4 days before I actually got in the car and the rental car and went, I picked up everything that I owned. I don't own a car, so I didn't pick up my car, but I picked up only one end of my couch and two love seats and a few other things with my neighbor's help. Thank you, Aaron and Bree. Thank you both. His wife Bree, and I moved everything like 100 feet, if not more. Took stuff to Goodwill. And all of that. So I don't mean to go on about it. I talked about it a little bit. And Richard said, yeah, that's a drive, isn't it? Chuck says a marathon drive. I don't understand, Richard. I moved to be here with family. It's something I've wanted to do for 17 years. I was laid off 2.5 years ago. I could have moved then, but I think we're having a pandemic. Perhaps not the best time to sell a house. And so this is a good time. What about the dog? Exactly. Exactly. What about the dog? Isaac is doing great. My sister gave me pictures today of how he's doing. Let's see. I think she's, where is it? I don't want to give away her number or anything like that. Where are we at? Oh, yes. Okay. So there he is lying on her feet while she works in the office, which he just loved to do with me. So Isaac is fine. She also has Curie. I have, well, somebody commented last time about enough cat talk, more slots tips. So I will stop talking about cats and dogs. I miss him so much. I really do. How's Reno? Reno, people here are friendly, but it's not a walking town. Several people have commented it's not good for foot traffic, even riding a bike or a moped. And pluses and minuses. Yes, everybody seems pretty friendly. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate it. Jerry, have you tried any of the casinos in Reno yet? The slots are looser than Las Vegas, I've heard. I have plans. People who are in Reno have reached out to me to show me around. I haven't yet. I've already been here like 10 days. My house, I'm selling my house, and I'm selling my house. Today we did the drone footage. I'm paying for it or helping with it, and they're sending me links. And so tomorrow it goes up for sale, and that's kind of important right now because it was expensive to move, and I need to get that process done. Also, I'm friggin' exhausted, and I woke up a week ago today with jet lag because I'd moved 3 time zones, and I'm just physically exhausted from all the work, and I'm not trying to complain. I'm just saying I will get to it in a couple of days. So I'm building a schedule of Wednesdays going to the casino, not tomorrow, because either later today or tomorrow, I'm going to have to start evaluating offers on the house. And so don't want to do that on my phone from the casino. So maybe a week from tomorrow might be a good time to start, heading out to the Reno. But one thing I want to do is go to Coshada, as I've talked about with one of my moderators. That's in Louisiana, Tribal Casino in Louisiana. Got some stuff that's going on there that's pretty darn interesting. If you've been in the past live streams, you know what that is. Then I wanted to go to WinStar because I really want to dig into this whole Class 2 bingo style machines to write that up. And people there, there's several people there who are willing to invite me and yes. Right. Did I miss one? Did I miss the question, Camilla? I don't see the comment. I'm trying not to miss anything, but again, the question, that hashtag question is very helpful. What do I think about blazing sevens? If the machine is highly visible, if there's a whole row of them, then one of those machines will have higher odds. I played blazing sevens. I don't think that the game is particularly, if you see a whole row of them, they don't all have the same odds. It's dependent on the end of the row if the casino likes to do that. So I've played a lot of Wheel of Fortune, and I like Wheel of Fortune. I have a fond memory of Wheel of Fortune, but it isn't that I go to the casinos and find a Wheel of Fortune. It's because the casino I went to had a prominently displayed Wheel of Fortune machine with a high wheel pointed out onto the table game area from the opening of the high limit room. It was just perfectly situated. And that's why I have a fond memory of lots and lots of wins on Wheel of Fortune machines. That's how I feel about blazing sevens. If it's prominently displayed, if you're winning on it, go for it. Now, see, there's making money, and then there's player appeal. And if you are interested in making your money back, then, think about these things I talk about. If you're only interested in going anywhere in the world and playing blazing sevens, well, good luck with that. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. And questions back and forth. So one of the services, Linda, that I'm going to be setting up, it's not ready yet, and I shouldn't talk about something I haven't exactly launched, is meeting up with people for a fee to do my paid consultations in person, for an hour, like I do now, online through a Zoom meeting, but now do it at the casino for an hour. But then add a second feature, which would be, okay, the stuff that I just talked about, highly visible locations and et cetera. Why don't I, let's go out to the casino floor. And if it's the Las Vegas Strip, I have to get on a plane, so there's going to be an additional cost. If it's Reno, it's still additional cost because it's more time. And just say, what's your favorite casino? Let's check it out. Show you what I'm seeing. Camilla says, I do not see that prior comment. I'm scanning back, and did I miss something? I don't recall seeing anything like that. Sorry, Camilla. Yeah, thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it. Yeah, moving is always a draining experience. I think the 3 time zones was a little bit much. It might have been just a little something. Good luck with the house. Linda says, yes, I've never sold a house before. And the Mike says, what do you think about the new top dollar in pinball machines? Again, if they are set to win, they're set to win. What do you think about the Brian Christopher themed machines? Well, they're a theme that somebody's Brian Christopher is being compensated for having given up his image, cartoon image, for those machines. So there's a licensing fee. Yeah. So it's going that who's going to pick up that cost? Players, and that's how it goes. Top dollar. What you might be interested in is an advantage play for those machines. So what do I think about the new top dollar and pinball machines? What do I think about anything? It's if it's a winning machine at your casino, if it's prominently displayed, good luck with that. Kama Junior, first time here. Are you familiar with Triple Fortune Dragon? Any thoughts, strategies, etc.? Again, I don't care about game themes unless there's a advantage play involved, like what is it? Ocean Magic, where there's a known event where it's accumulating wins, and the people who are playing don't realize it's accumulating a win to give back. And then there's people hovering around watching. And if that person just gets up and walks away, then those hovering people jump on it. And that's an advantage play. Otherwise, be careful listening to people who are just shoveling bad information. If it's in the game rules, great. Otherwise, be careful. Okay. Some people do stuff just to get views. Um, John, send me an email and I will reply when I go and let you know when I'm there and we can meet up. John at professorslots.com. A lot of people are asking about game themes, and don't buy into the myth that a particular game theme has better odds everywhere. If it has an advantage play, that's different, but that's in the game rules, and use that. But just people trying to get you excited and wasting money. I feel bad about people who fall for that. Take care of yourself. Question, just asking, are you familiar with, Dean Voni? No. I'm sure I'll find it. I don't follow a lot of other slots channels. There's only one that used to be an educational slots channel and now is not. And one of my students, who in February 2nd started his slots channel, but he's moved away from being educational. And it's kind of like conspiracy theorists. Princess Diana was assassinated and at the same time is living in hiding with Michael Jackson. It's just like, it tells you whatever you want to hear. No names. Great. It's lots of fun. I hear Pekahun. Okay, it's very popular in Japan. Do American casinos have it? Just call and ask. Whatever casino you go to, there's a phone number on their website. Call them and ask to talk to the slots department and ask if they have it. Or you can ask when you're there. One of the things I talked about in today's video was ask any slot attendant if they have a particular game. And they will call somebody and they'll find a list. You can tell them the denomination and they can say, well, if you just give them the name, they'll say, well, we've got a penny machine, a multi-denomination machine. It's over here, 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 here. You can also go to some casinos. Here is North Kansas City is where I saw this, where you can actually go up to a kiosk and you can find the machine. You put it in and it'll say where it is and give you a little map location on the casino floor, and you go find it and you go to it. You can also do this at WinStar. Okay, if you go to the WinStar website, I'm a little reluctant to go there because I'm not supposed to show other people's advertising, but there is a very nice map, casino floor map, and the slot machine names are searchable. So see if your casino that you're interested in, your local casino, has that sort of feature. Or if you want to go to WinStar, you can just use that service and you can see what I'm talking about. Or call them. Yeah, that's how you find out. Thank you for letting me know, Camilla. I do want to find out. I did find out a couple of the slots channels, what to do with them is kind of like a different story, but when I was in Ohio, there was a couple of that went to the local casinos. I imagine, of course, that Reno would be significantly different. But then there's a question of collaborations and business arrangements. So, be interesting to interview them if they have any interest in how to win. But if they don't, people have asked me to bring back interviews on my podcasts, and I'm like, well, it was fine for a while, but as I was asking more and more of my, I start with my participants in my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. I send out an email to them first and say, would you like to be on the podcast? If you feel like you have something to say, talk about your experience before and after, taking my course. And a lot of them did, but it gradually moved into, let me tell you about my 20-year experience at playing slots. And some people who are listening to the podcast were like, it's not really, giving me a history lesson isn't as interesting. But other people were like kind of eating it up. But it seemed like it was more like, hey, when I was 20, and it's 70-year-olds now, and what machines do we have back in the 1970s? It's kind of interesting, but it's not really on point. And so maybe what I'll do is start talking to people who have slots channels and saying, so you just pick anything? You're thinking about maybe doing better, maybe not spending $10,000 playing on a weekly basis. Brian Christopher was interviewed November last year, and he said, yeah, I spend $10,000 a visit, charging my credit card, pay it off. I don't win. I don't win, he says, and that's fine. But what do you want to? Would you like to switch over? It'll be interesting to maybe talk to somebody about that, but they might not be willing to do it. It might be like a short interview. No. I'll be like, okay, you don't have to. And Julie says, hashtag question, everybody. And please hit the like button. It does help pull people into the live stream. Is the payout percentage set per bet amount or per machine? Meaning, is the payout percentage calculated at each bet level? Okay, so what I've seen is that it is set per denomination on a multi-denomination machine. Well, it's set per denomination because we can see that in the return statistics for the 6 states that offer return statistics by slot machine denomination. What I've seen is that if you're on a multi-denomination machine, different odds apply. Different theoretical payouts are on each denomination. But what they say isn't done yet, what I've experienced is that the number of credits bet after choosing a denomination, I have better odds with minimum bets than I do with maximum bets. I just sat there for an hour, slowly climbing on my bankroll on a minimum bet. This was at Hollywood Lawrenceburg in Indiana. And I found the winning machine next to the cafe. It was closed because of the pandemic, but nevertheless, they still set it up, prominently displayed to all those people. But of course, the cafe is closed because of the pandemic. And I was winning for an hour. And my bankroll went from $100 to $300 slowly. And I'm like, great. I was winning, fairly often, $20. Okay. And then I went up. So the first hour, that was what I was doing. For 30 minutes after that, the next half hour, I went up to medium bets. So I went from 90-cent bets to $2.70 bets, and for a half an hour. And it kind of broke even, which was not making a profit. And then I'm like, what's going on here? And so I made maximum bets. And I continued to win with medium bets of $2.70 each and $4.70 each. I continued to win just about as often, but the wins were, well, how do I put this? The wins were more, but not as much as I would expect. From 90 cents to it was $4.50. From 90 cents to $4.50 is a 5x increase in what I was betting. And at the 90 cent for an hour, I was winning $20 every once in a while, $20, just slowly increase my bankroll from $100 to $300. So when I went to maximum bets, 5x more, I was not winning $100. I was winning at the same interval. Every few bets I would win, an amount, but it was $35. Not $100. It wasn't 5 times the $20 earlier wins on minimum bets. It was more like a little bit less than twice. And I'm like, that's a change in theoretical payout. So from that experience, which I'm trying to do at more and more casinos, trying to check at more and more casinos, because one casino does not show this. It shows it's possible, but I want to see how widespread it is. That means every credit bet has a different payout, theoretical payout, which is kind of like not what people say. And then every denomination has a different theoretical payout. It can choose to be, which is, well known. Yeah. Interesting question. Thank you for asking it. So question, is there a proven theory for the amount one particular game may pay out based on money in, money out? Is there a proven theory for the amount one particular game may pay out based on money in, money out? So in order to proven theory for the amount, so your question doesn't quite make sense because there's no theory in your question. The amount one particular game may pay out based on money in, money out, you would need to know the money in, money out, and you don't. I mean, you can do it for yourself, but you're not saying one person's money in, money out. You're saying the game, and you're not collecting that data. The casino's collecting that data. The casino has that information. Now, for the New Jersey Gaming Commission, they will report out to everybody the wins over $50,000. Every hit that was over $50,000. That's not quite what you asked for. Then there's Kashada, which has a website feature on the mobile app, which posts the $1,200 or higher Handpay amount for every machine, but it doesn't say how much was spent on that machine. So again, no. The best you can do is one of the 6 states that offer return statistics by slot machine denomination, and you can see how much was put in, how much was returned. You can do this in 20 states for the whole entire casino or region of the state. But with the 6 states that have slot machine denominations, I think it's 7 now. Iowa got that feature too. You can also see with it how many machines are that denomination. And so you can sort of get some of the information you're looking for. The thing like with engineering that I learned with physics and engineering is you never have enough information. So you try to make use of what you get. Interesting question. Jan, so what I'm finding out, I lived in Iowa for 10 years, going to graduate school, one of the graduate schools that I went to. 2 of the graduate schools that I went to were in Iowa, Iowa State, not University of Iowa, fighting words. And for those 10 years, my whole family was like, what do you mean you're in Central Time? The time's different there? And now I'm time difference is 3 hours. And my sister, chatted with me in the morning and said, how's it going? And I said, well, it's 5:42 a.m. not almost 9. And so now my moderators are like, as Jan is here, did I get the time wrong? I don't know. And my other moderator says, well, you're here now. So that's a great attitude to have. Mary says, my spouse does, as you said, minimum to medium bet and also near buffet, mainly at WinStar, rarely full bet. Yeah, I mean, stay on budget. I see these other slots channels that are making like $200 bets. And I'm like, who do you think your customers are? I understand that there's an endorphin hit by watching somebody else play a slot machine. And I don't mean to rag on the slot channels. They can do whatever they want. I just, see some of the misunderstandings in place and I feel sad. And, people that make $1,000 bets, as people have told me, Brian Christopher started out with, $5 bets. It was pretty unusual to do $5 bets when he got started, but now he just does a lot more. There's an aspect to it where they're, trying to make more money. But like I said, it's, not being educational if you're not doing what your audience does. Yes, some of you do high limit slots, and we can talk about that because that's where a lot of my experience is at. But, how do you handle a $300 bankroll? I think that's pretty challenging. Um, I think that everybody who has a bigger bankroll can learn a lot from somebody who has like $100. They can't afford to make any mistakes. They have to do the best that they can. Otherwise, they're over and done. And I think there's a real challenge with $100, even $200, even $300 bankroll. With this day and age, when everything's, minimum bets are increasing so much, I have a lot of respect for people who have $300 bankrolls because there's no error. Yeah. Perry says, do you ever stay on a machine longer than 5 bets if nothing hits within the first 5 spins? I have this tough love method, which is to make 10 bets. And I don't like to stay on a machine where I don't win anything at 10 bets. 10 bets is tough love, walk away. That's if I'm doing that. If I'm doing the 5 spin method, I'm doing that. But, there's different techniques you can use, and I do different ones. If I want to evaluate a particular machine, perhaps because it's located in a certain area that I think is highly visible, or during a time when I hear the casino going, I will make 10 bets. And if there's no wins or whatever, then I'm out. But if there is, then I'll go to 20 bets. And that's when I'll make a decision. Do I go to 50 bets, or do I say, no, this is not a winning machine? Not will it be a winning machine, but has it already been a winning machine? And so, yes, for that evaluation method, I like to make 10 bets. Giving it a chance, but on the other hand, tough love. Yeah. Question of tough love. Yes. Yep. So I saw. Question from Flip. Again, thank you for the $100 donation. It's very much appreciated. I've never felt as mentally tired after going to a casino and actively using your strategies. Is this expected normal by incorporating your strategies, or should I see a doctor? You'll get used to it. Okay, practice makes perfect. You'll get used to it. It is engaging. It is engaging, and with Texas Tootsie, Jan, one of my moderators, I went to 3 casinos in Louisiana, not realizing what you're talking about. I mean, sure, I've been working on them, and I knew it was like, stay focused. I don't like to play 2 machines at once, 3 machines at once, because it was a drain. And I'm like, I got a lot to watch out for here, and see and learn. And then I went to 3 casinos on one day with Jan, and I'm like, what is this? This is exhausting, and I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. So take it in bits and pieces, and you are engaging. You're engaging. You're doing it right. You're doing it right. It'll get easier. This is when I was, I'm a physicist. I got a couple of physics degrees, including a graduate degree, and I always used to get like headaches, only they weren't headaches. It felt like my brain was stretched. the feeling you're feeling. And I was just like, is this like good for me or not? They basically are stretching your conceptions, how you understand the world. Yeah. Yeah. So to clarify a question from before, Samal Jr. says, yes, to clarify, I meant the casino or machines are tracking that total amount. Yes, casinos have return statistics. I just put out one for Maryland, video on this yesterday, and you can see what they say. So if you go to professorslots.com/ and then use the 2-letter postal designation for any state, you tell me your state, and I'll see if I can spot it, and then we'll take a look at what that state is. I have written 56 state by state, and the federal district and the territories. I've took me 4 years to write an article on every one of these states, territories, federal district, and I went through all this. And so you can find links if your state offers it. I wish California did, but they don't. For the 20 states that offer return statistics, and I explain how to, the links to go to it, the State Gaming Commission, and you can see for yourself. Different states offer different information. I like how Florida, for its commercial casinos in Miami-Dade and Broward counties, offers how much they give away in free slot play. Because right after the pandemic, that went to zero. And they didn't lower the returns. They just stopped giving away free money. And apparently that saved them some money with being a little bit less noticeable. But everybody noticed they weren't getting the free slots play anymore. It's all very interesting. So Carlton says, please explain fast pay technology casinos are offering in lieu of physical hand pays. So there's a couple of things where the bigger bets are taking place and they want people to keep playing. If you have to count out bills, that takes time away from those people who obviously like to spend money, spending money. So let's remove that obstacle. The casino says, let's remove that obstacle. The ones I've seen are just get one W2G at the end of your session. But I think if you change machines, that means you start another session. And that's just to keep people playing. Yeah, it's kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. It's certainly good for the casinos. Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of the things that I have a upcoming slots Q&A short on this is one of the things that people talk about might happen is removing the $1,200 W2G limit. Well, this person talked like they wanted it, but they don't want it. Individuals don't want it. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever, except for people who lie on their taxes. And I don't really support that group. Who wants it is the casino, because if you're paying out a hand pay, that takes 10 minutes, and that could be like $10,000 if it's a high limit room, and people could be playing instead of having that happen. So there's a money to be made by the casino by not having to do the paperwork of their employee, paying them for that, and also for the person who's receiving the W2G to not be playing on a high limit machine where they could be spending money. Yeah, yeah. Well, I love Brian Christopher. I think he's a great leader. If you take the educational and entertainment slots channels combined, then he's our leader. And I think it's great that he broke through the barrier of having a cartoon image of him become a game theme. It breaks through the ceiling for the rest of us. Yeah. Yeah. Pinta Black has a comment on this. I've seen that. I have a master's degree in marketing. It helps. It helps to understand casino marketing if you have a degree in business management. I want to say thanks to everybody who's been giving a lot of positive comments lately. I've gotten a lot of hate from slots channels, and I think that that's all fine. I didn't mind, but I appreciate the positive comments lately because they're starting to see that if they want good information, they come to me. I just keep on providing it, yeah. If you're on a losing streak, I retreat to the 9-cent machines just to keep playing for fun. It's great that you have a machine where you can make a 9-cent bet. Not all of us have that. Good for you. Good for you. And Jan says, "I'm proud of you hanging in there, John." Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, me too, losing streak. So there's comments back and forth. Make sure you use hashtag question so that I can see whether you're talking to me. Sometimes I see these and I'm like, oh, it's a back and forth conversation with everybody in the live chat, which is wonderful. So Jose says, Texas, when you hit a 90 cents bet, would have the machine hit at a $450 bet if you would have bet higher on the same spin. Just by the timing's off. Okay, the the random number generator, which is in the machine, isn't as important as some people seem to think, but it is what's used to determine the random distribution. There's a random distribution, and it's used to whatever you got was because of that particular random number generation. And the time it would have taken you to switch denominations would have meant the timing would have been off from your 90-cent bet and your $4.50 bet. Not only would have been off, it would have been, there's a sequence that's by the random number generator. It's moving, it's going through that sequence at the speed of the computer, okay? Gigahertz. That's 9 million calculations per second. So anything that delays your bet, like changing the denomination, means you would have gotten a different result. Sorry to be technical about it. And Mary has a funny odd fact. At WinStar, your Handpay paper has the slot number, but actual time of win is well hidden and sort of coded. That portion of the W2G is hidden. I just got an interesting comment on my YouTube channel, which I'll have to do something about. The Handpay paper, there's a W2G, but not all casinos use it. I gotten Handpays at like Foxwoods that was just, it had all the same information, but it was not a W2G. It said on the side W2G, but it wasn't the U.S. Income tax form from the IRS. And so, yeah. Thank you. I look forward to getting one. Haters will hate, ignores the haters. Yeah. I also heard the advice of, and I don't mean to go on about this because I don't want to give them airtime, but I'd also heard that you cannot be successful, cannot have a successful YouTube channel without them. Yeah. So I guess I have arrived months ago. Yep. So comments back and forth. So Denise, I won twice on the same machine, 2 months apart, but same day of the week and same time of day. Is that a pattern? Yes. I mean, do it a third time. I like threes, not so much twos. So I guess I know where you'll know where you be in 2 months. So Noreen says, my third Handpay tonight based on your location advice. Wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that. That's great. So yes, and let me get rid of that. Right. So yeah, I'd take care of that later, I guess. Right. So, okay, yep, Jan's got a question. Okay, how does a machine pay out in order to stay within the legal limits? So the various states will have not all states have it. 30, I think it is, have some theoretical limit. And so your question is kind of like pretty deep. How does a machine pay out in order to stay within the legal limits? Per wager. Okay, so I'm trying to not use calculus here because I appreciate the concern. Do you know what a standard deviation is? It's called a bell-shaped curve. Okay. The average is the peak. And there's a variance on either side of that called standard deviation. And so the theoretical payout limit is that average, but the actual wins are centered on that average. And that's how it stays within the legal limit. Yeah. Um, uh, Denise, love the slots channel. Thanks. You're very welcome. And Pentablack says, number one slots educational common sense advice channel. Great. People today that have said, I just won, thanks, is my proof of that. Where do I go to donate to the Professor Slots Kashana Trip Fund? There's email me at john@professorslots.com. And, what do you prefer? I have the Cash App. I have, or you can just wait for the product that I'm trying to put together for that. And get on my mailing list, that sort of thing. If you want to help out with travel funds, that would be great too. Let's see, you can donate on YouTube, but YouTube takes a fairly good share of that. You can also go to PayPal and make a donation, which is professorslots.com/tip. And if you type that in, it'll go to PayPal and you can make a donation there. I think I recently set up Venmo, then I have the Cash App, and then just various ones that are set up. If you email me, then we can set you up something. How is the machine programmed? I think you're still talking about theoretical payouts. So the machine is programmed with a theoretical payout, and people think that means a lot, and it does, but there's also something that goes along with it. And my student Brantley told me about this, where there's many different settings that can be assigned to that theoretical payout. And it talks about which random distribution is used with it. So like that example that I was just giving, where you have this bell-shaped curve. Well, is it a bell-shaped curve that's wide, or is it a narrow one, or it's what's known as a delta? So what's the variation around that average? Each of those has the same average, but the width of it is the standard deviation, also known as volatility. And those are settings that are made. Okay, never mind. I answered it. Okay, Miko says you're the man, John. Well, yeah, I'm the person. All right. Yes, I'm from a family of strong women, so I fear some of the stuff that's going on. Just to be friendly about it. If improve your slots play in 30 days or less with. Let me get back to that. Improve your slots play in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. And I left my, you're the man, John, from Mika. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses plus 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership, where you get community support and accountability. We're looking forward to this coming Thursday's meeting. Visit professorslots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, testimonials from participants. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much. What a great live stream. I appreciate you. You'll see me at my next live stream on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time or noon Pacific, which is what I'm dealing with. In the meantime, watch this video on one way to play high limit slots and win with a small budget. Bye.